Hello, everybody. I am Suzanne Hacker, and I am your vacation rental business coach. And I am here today with Jenny Dombroski, who owns a vacation rental in New Mexico. So, Jenny, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, all those good things, and then share about your vacation rental.
Sure. My name is Jenny Dombroski, and my family and there's two children, Amelia and Sam, and my husband it's actually our anniversary today. So it's 14 years anniversary today.
Congrats.
And thank you. And we walked into Cloudcroft, and we kind of just wanted to have a piece of it be with us forever. So we bought a little 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom cabin close to the heart of downtown. My husband is a project manager, and I am a writer. I actually am venturing out a little bit, and I wrote a children's book, which comes out next month, which is really exciting. And then we have the babies. Amelia is super into volleyball and competitive, and Sam is right behind her with that competitive spirit, but in more of like a computer way.
Awesome. So he'll be a future website developer or something like that.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So you said you wanted to get a little piece of Cloudcroft, basically, to always have. So is that really what started your journey? Did you have a dream forever of owning vacation rentals? How did it come about?
I always loved the idea of having a bed and breakfast when I was younger, but the logistics of it seemed a little bit overwhelming, especially when I got out of college and they were like, adulthood, ready, set, go. And I was like, that's expensive dream. So we're going to table that. And then Airbnb kind of came on the scene, and we had gone to Cloudcroft in 2018, fell in love with it. It was a nice break from the hot Texas summer. The weather was fantastic. And so, it kind of burrowed itself in our heart a little bit. And then 2020 hit. The pandemic hit. Everybody was selling homes up there or buying homes up there. And we just happened to find this little home that we fell in love with. It was a 1979 beauty queen, and she was almost all original. So we walked into the paneling and the older cabinets and all that. And we just saw it and fell in love with it. And we just knew that we wanted to serve others and really get into that hospitality nature in this place. So we dug in, and our kids have helped revamp it. We, of course, got a contractor to do the heavy lifting, because I turned a closet, like a bifold closet, into a laundry room. So that was left to the professionals, despite my best efforts to be like, we've got it. We can just do it. And my husband was the smarter one in that one and was like, calm down, we'll get a professional. But my kids took it down front to the studs, and they've helped in every aspect, from picking out the puzzles that we've got there. They've helped paint, all that kind of stuff. So we just kind of walked in and have loved it ever since.
Great. And the name of it is Sweet Sarah, correct?
It is.
How did you come up with that name?
So Justin and I, we actually went to elementary school together, elementary, middle, and high school together. We didn't start dating until college. However, our families, in getting to know each other and talking about where we're from and how we come up and all that, we noticed that we have several Sarahs in either familiar line, and that those Sarahs were grandparents that just loved us and hugged us hard and held us tightly. And so we wanted to be like the 5th Sarah. So we decided to go ahead and go with the name Sarah, and we thought it made us stand out and take a little bit of that tradition and a little bit of that family hold that we have so tightly in our home life and translate it into our business.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I hope guests get to know that as well in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Wonderful. So if you could turn back the clock and share a piece of advice with yourself about this journey, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I could share so much, so much. First being really take your time and go through your vision. It's really easy to look past the process of getting it up and running and to say, I'm ready to host guests, and I'm so excited about all of these things that are happening. And you miss the process that ends up being your life for probably 6 months to a year of getting it ready. And there is beauty in that. And there's beauty in really looking at a space until you can feel it and get a feel for what it could become and what it could serve as, and then turning it into that instead of just walking right in, designating certain things because you have to have them or you think you have to have them, really slowing down, and just letting the space kind of tell you where things need to go, especially those older homes where you want to keep some of the characteristics, you want to keep some of the charm, and you don't want to completely gut it, take it out, and then just put in everything that looks like everybody else. Really look at the pieces that are in your house and what can you make of those first before moving just rapid fire to the end part.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. I remodeled an 1877 three-story farmhouse back in Wisconsin. And it was so interesting because it was one of those, like, first floor was gutted, and redid everything because it had had a couple of remodels too.
Yeah.
And so I had people say when I was done, they're like, "Is this your dream home?" And I was like, "No, this was just what the house was supposed to be. It's a three-story farmhouse style. Why wouldn't I, pull these things throughout the house? We found a old fireplace behind the wall. Well, you mimic those same bricks then in different places that you can, and yes, I completely see where you're coming from with let the house, kind of speak to you and go with it,
Yes.
So it's awesome. And your place is adorable. It is so cute. So you can tell that you've put that in because it's not a cookie cutter. It's not the same as every other vacation rental somebody else might walk into. It has a unique characteristics.
It does. My husband's probably least favorite of those is the pink door, but I saw it and my favorite color has always been pink, and my daughter and I always loved the color pink. And so I was like, we have to do it. You're not going to let me do it in the house I live in all the time. So maybe we can do it and somebody else will help. And it helps us be an identifier in the community. Yeah. It's by the pink house or the pink door house. And it's been a fun little story to have.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think is the most unique thing about the rental?
So the most unique thing that we have are local trees that have been turned into live edge countertops. And in them, we have arrowheads and local rocks and geodes that have been found, and they've been placed in the live edge countertop. And they're from a local artist, JD Custom Woodworks, and he does amazing job. And he really lovingly goes through your house and helps you decide, hey, this is what'll look good here, or this what'll look good there. And really gets that artist's vision to the point where you're just like, I will stand out of your way. I've got no suggestions for you. Just do your thing. And they're beautiful. He, in one of the countertops, he put 4 stones in there, and it's like a larger one for my husband, a slightly smaller one for me, and then 2 little ones for our kids. And I mean, it's something that we look for. I joke with Justin all the time. I'm like, if we have to sell this house for any reason, I am taking those countertops with me and making a table. I will figure something out. Just don't mind me. And so, that is probably the most unique thing and the most commented on thing that we get from guests that enjoy their time with us.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, they look beautiful in the pictures, so I could totally see that. So tell me a little bit about your social media or marketing strategy. I found you on Instagram. So tell me a little bit about where all do you promote yourself and what do you do?
So for the Airbnb, I am just on social or Instagram because it makes it easy to do pictures and reels. I can do all the things. And my strategy is really to find things that I find fun and engaging and move forward. I always found that I enjoyed staying at someplace just a little bit more when I knew what was behind it coming to be. And so I started telling these stories about, waking up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep. And that's why we have chocolate and pennies downstairs or in our houses, that you can play gin rummy without you losing any of your quarters. And we have cards in the kitchen, and all of these little things that I grew up in and that kind of formed our story. We wanted it to translate. So that's kind of been our strategy, is every couple of days we share a little bit more of ourselves, and then more of the traditional stuff too, the reviews or pictures of the surrounding communities, because there are wild horses in our community. So cool. It's lovely when we get those and we get the opportunity to share. And it's probably one of the more like well-traveled posts that we do are the ones of the wild horses.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, that would be beautiful. I
can't
even imagine. You're making me want to come to Cloudcroft.
You should come on down. I know a place.
How far are you from Albuquerque?
Oh my gosh. Probably 3 hours or so. It's a hop and a skip, but nothing too crazy.
Right. Okay. Do you also have a separate landing page or direct booking website, either one or both?
We do not. We toiled with that and went back and forth on, do we want to book a direct booking site? And I think that it'll be something in the future. And as we possibly add more properties to it, we just listed with Verbo a couple of months ago. And that has been just as equally as fun. But that's in the works. It's like the next thing.
But you do have like a Linktree landing page that people can click on from Instagram, and then they get to choose if they want to book through VRBO or Airbnb. That's okay.
Yes, just they get to have that option, because some have really strong preferences of who they want to go through and who they've had a better experience with. And we wanted to allow them that comfort so that it's not a stressful part of the situation. Like the booking is just easygoing, however they would like to do it.
Yeah. And did you do the Linktree page yourself?
I did.
Okay.
Awesome.
No, it's great, because it lets people know that people can do this themselves. You don't have to go out and hire somebody and pay them $1,000 or whatever to create a landing page.
No, I've actually found wonderful marketing advice on TikTok. If you just follow it, there's so many creative people in this vast space that we call the world and life. And it's so nice when you see somebody on fire for, the video marketing, and they've got such a great idea, and you're like, okay, well, how do I make that idea my own? Because you don't want to copy. And so how do you make it your own, and how can you go on? And so it's just a wealth of information that we found that we would rather put our money somewhere else as opposed to hiring a social media manager or a website manager.
Well, the other thing that it helps you, back to the social media, when you do it yourself, you're able to relay those stories unlike anybody else could ever relay them for you. So it just, to me, it conveys that personal touch that is what this industry was founded on. It's not always that way these days, but I think that is what it was founded on, and what a lot of people are striving to do, that own it, themselves. This is their small business, and that's what they're trying to do. So, your original pictures, were those taken with a professional photographer?
Absolutely not. They were taken with a dated iPhone. And honestly, that was probably something that I would have looked into a whole lot earlier had I really known the impact of the pictures, because I was like, okay, here's what it looks like. I can't change what it looks like. So this is what it's going to look like when you get here. Like, no surprises here. But review after review, we kept getting, the pictures don't do it justice. The pictures don't do it justice. Even as recently as a couple of weeks ago, we got that same remark. So we had our family photographer from Texas go up to New Mexico and take some pictures, drone footage, all of that for us. So that should be coming fairly soon.
That's awesome, that perspective too, of people keep saying, the pictures don't do it justice, that's a good thing for you to have. Like, at least they're not like, this is nothing like what the pictures,
Yes, no, we're always happy to hear that it exceeded expectations in the visual department anyway. But we would like to step up our game, and it is something that we're actively working on to make us stand out a little bit more, because the area that we're at, there are several choices. So we want to make sure that we are standing loud and proud and honestly in who we are and what we stand for, and then allowing the guests to decide if it's the right rental for them.
Sure. Now you have desires, if you will, to expand into additional rentals at some point?
Yes. I am actively looking. But I want, it's so exciting. But I have this vision of like an A-frame deal, and everybody hangs on to their A-frames. Nobody gets out of the A-frames. And so I'm waiting for this like property that I have in the back of my mind and on my heart. And I just know that when it comes up, I'm just going to know what we're doing. And, if we're able to move forward on it, then we will. And we look forward to serving our community. We love our guests. And there are some people who really enjoy the hospitality aspect of this. And we are one of them. We really, really like it. So we're looking forward to just seeing what everything life has in store for us. God has planned for us. We're open to the ride, and just so excited and grateful and feeling really blessed to have had the experience that we had.
Yeah. So do you have a certain area where you're looking for that A-frame in?
I would love to expand to Rio Doso. I really, really would. Just because my daughter and husband are skiers. Now, you're not flinging me off the side of a like perfectly good mountain anytime soon. However, my husband and daughter are gung ho, and they love the skiing. So what better part to really hone in on like a skiing accommodation, and somewhere that not only that they could go, but also other families can go. We want to make sure, as always, that it's family friendly, that it has what you need. You can bring your dog. And at the same time, it feels luxurious and welcoming and has everything that you need. So Rio Doso is kind of where we're eyeing a little bit.
Okay.
Probably
Awesome.
me more than my husband, but that's fine.
Even though it's kind of for him and the daughter with the skiing, but
yes, that's what I keep saying. It's what
right.
I keep saying, Suzanne, and we're working on it.
It'll come. The right one will come along.
Yes,
at the right time. Yes. So what is the most important, other than kind of slowing down, enjoying that journey kind of thing? What is the most important thing you have learned about being a vacation rental owner?
Oh my gosh. Thing that was really, really hard for me to hear is, you dream and you work really hard and somebody doesn't like it. And that's inevitably going to happen to everyone. It doesn't have to mean that they don't like the whole thing. They just think your couch isn't comfortable for them or something like that. And I remember the first time somebody told me that, they were like, I really don't like your couch. And I was like, what's wrong with our couch? This is crazy. But then going forward, it's a reclining couch. So, those can be uncomfortable to lay across. And so after some more thought about it and kind of stepping outside of myself and outside of the like almost rejection, like you almost take that as like a hit. I was able to say, okay, you know what? It really isn't that comfortable to lay down. We got a new couch and moved on with it. So take what you need to from the reviews is something that I needed to hear, but don't pick them up and carry them around from you and hold them close to your heart and just let them really rock your confidence or allow them to make you feel like you're doing a bad job. As long as you are putting your best foot forward, take what you can, fix what you can if you need to. It's okay. We're all none of us, ain't nobody perfect but Jesus. So nobody's doing anything absolutely right out of the gate. So let's learn from it. Get a new couch if you need to, but then keep going. And so that's probably
advice is to get a new couch. No.
Yes, get a new couch, sit in it, lay down in it. And if you're like, that's fair, then it's fair. And you've got to replace the couch.
So the rental is a little ways away from where you live. So how did you find whoever cleans it for you?
So, so actually our lovely and wonderful, Tammy, she used to live in that house.
Ah,
And so they sold the house, and I asked her if she would please join us in, be in our family business and being a part of it. We were excited to have her, and we were so blessed and thankful that she said yes, because it can definitely be a challenge to find somebody who is dependable, but also loves your home
yeah.
as you do. And as she had lived there before, she obviously has great affection for the house. She loved everything that we did as far as renovations and everything. So she is just as much a part of making it shine and sparkle and stand out as we are. I mean, she does wonderful, wonderful things for us.
Yeah. And good cleaners, like that can make, cleaners can make or break you really in this
Absolutely.
business,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
And it was important for us, to pay her not only competitively, but she makes a monthly, she makes a certain percentage of our sales. And so
nice.
That we pass on to her every paycheck, just to make sure that she's feeling like we're successful, you're successful. And, we want to pass that along to share in the joy of hosting instead of looking at it more in a formal relationship.
Sure, that's great. What a great idea. I mean, I've heard of some owners, giving their cleaners bonuses and things like that. It was interesting because in one of the groups that I'm in, it became quite a hot, topic of discussion, because somebody was like, so I'm giving my cleaner a $25 gift card as a bonus each month, and other people were like, that's ridiculous. That is not nearly enough, for what they do. So,
yes,
and
we love her so. Yes, we love her so, and we hope that she stays with us. So we treat her like we would want to be treated.
I love it. I love it that she knew the property, and loves the property already. So it's not just a stranger necessarily from an app that's, that you could find. So that's cool.
She's wonderful.
So one last question for you. Well, actually two. So
I'm ready.
What is one thing that you wish I would have asked you today or talked about that we didn't talk about?
Ooh, well, I think it's important to really fall in love with the area that you are choosing for your Airbnb. Right. So, a lot of places you can go and you can say, oh, the price is right to get an Airbnb, or the price is, or I like this house and I don't really know anything about the area, but, we'll go ahead and do it anyway, just to hop on. I feel like you will enjoy it so much more if you fall in love with where you're around. So, for us, it was the cooler temperatures and the wild horses. Okay. We loved that. And so we try to project our love for our community outward. And I think that that's important, to fall in love with the area that you do, or that you end up, expanding in. Sure. And then, explaining, I think it's important that people get a sense of who you are and the person behind the messages, behind all of the posts and everything, because it lets people know, like, hey, I'm human, or hey, I've got a children's book coming out. Hey, my daughter's going to state for volleyball. All of these cool little tidbits allow you to kind of connect with your guests in a way that maybe they haven't experienced previously, so that if they're having a bad day, and, you can reach out if they need to hear from you, or if you notice we have a little ring on the outside only. But if you notice that their dog ran away, you can be like, hey, is your dog okay? Kind of thing. And so it's just nice to have that connection.
Sure. So back to this children's book that you have written. Has it been released? Can people go and buy it somewhere?
It releases September 22nd.
Okay. So it releases September 22nd. What's it called?
Awesome Everett. And it is the story. Our son, Sam, is on the autism spectrum. And so when I was kind of going through everything and really learning what it was and loving the journey, explaining what it was to my then 4-year-old daughter was extremely challenging for me. And so, do you go clinical? Do you go like almost cartoonish about it? Like, what do you do? And so for a long time, I just had this idea in my head of like realistic and fun stories with realistic and like true to self reactions of our son. And because autism affects everybody differently, I was like, oh, this is such a good way to show, that here he was excited, here he was excited and this is what he did. And
Sure.
it's just a part of a story, and it's not the story. It's not like, oh, well, if he does this, it means this, or autism is this and not that. It just shows the beauty of the world with them in it. And
Sure.
I really felt like it was important to share that part of our story with as many people as we could, because it was something that I would have loved to have had.
Sure.
So yes,
So
that was
Awesome Everett will be available for purchase or released September 22nd. And I'm
yes,
sure you'll have that in your Airbnb or your vacation rental for people to read.
absolutely. Yes, we will have it.
Awesome.
We will have it there. And we just love advocating and love being true to our story and everything. And that's a part of it. And so it was important for us to share, and that will be in our Airbnb and all the things.
That's great. That is awesome, because it's something that's definitely prevalent in our world today. And if that can help other parents and even siblings, to learn to understand their brother or sister, it's like,
Yes.
what better than that? So,
Yes.
well, thank you so much for sharing that
Yes.
with us today too, and for sharing about your vacation rental. It was so nice to get to talk to you today.
I
appreciate
agree.
you
I
taking
had
the
a
time.
blast. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
having me, and just all of the great questions. And yeah, I just had a great time.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.